perhaps in their childhood, and the message that they heard or perceived is they are not quite good enough. They can't get in trouble all the time, and every time they say something they mean to do, or they make a mistake, they feel like they're a failure. And then there's that core emotion that drives them to this day. Things that happened to you in your past, even as a child, can affect you now as an adult. And it's not too late to work on it. And if you feel like that these negative thoughts that you have about yourself, and you tend to judge yourself, if they affect you in your life, it's not too late. It's not too late to work on you. And the beautiful thing of our brain has plasticity. It means it's molded. Things can change. It's a lot easier when you're little, when your brain's still developing. But even as adults, we can work on it. When your brain's still developing. In case in point, I see clients every day, and some clients come into me and they're severely depressed and have severe anxiety. And after a course of time, they're better. It's because they worked on tools like the 3-point check that I just mentioned. They are working on it, and they're actively working on those thoughts and those feelings that they have. And so that's what I want you to do. I want you to be encouraged that first of all, you're not alone. So that's one thing you might be tempted. I'm the only one that thinks this. I'm the only one that behaved like this. And if you actually have a diagnosis, it's even worse, right? If you have a mental health diagnosis, there's a stigma. If you have a diagnosis,
and it makes things worse, because then it's easy. Oh, well, that person doesn't have OCD, or that person is not depressed like I am, so I'm therefore crazy, right? So, but here's what I want you to do. You have to come to a place in your life where you are not beating yourself up and you accept it. You don't have to like it, but you do have to accept it. And to the point where you're not beating yourself up, but I also want you to work on it. So the tools like the 3-point check, tools like that, I want you to use. I want you to put this to practice. And some of you need to work on this more than others, right? So it's hard. This is hard work, but it's something that I know you can put to practice. So if you tend to be the person that you beat yourself up, you also have to be your own coach. You have to be your therapist, right? So if you are going to a therapist, there are things that you need to do even between sessions, right? That's what I teach my clients. And so these things, what I want to do in this group, in Keep Calm Academy, I would love to be able to, some of you can follow me for a long time, even back to Periscope, and I appreciate that. But now I'm back, and I really see the potential that this group has. And so I want to be able to come on live like this, just inside Keep Calm Academy. I go out live on other places too. I have a podcast, but I want to reserve these specific types of teaching and lessons for Keep Calm Academy. So if you have friends, for instance, that you think would benefit from this, invite them. I mentioned, in fact, inside Keep Calm Academy, there's a photo that you can invite and save it to your phone and put it on your Facebook feed, invite people, because I know so many people struggle with this. Anxiety is one of the most mental health struggle in the world. Did you know that? So if you struggle with anxiety, you're definitely not alone. But yeah, anxiety can be treated. Depression, same way. And whatever your struggle is, it doesn't define who you are. Did you hear that? Whatever your struggle is, it does not define who you are. So many people equate their struggle with who they are. But I want you to really pay attention to this. if you have a diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis, I want you to try to believe that your diagnosis is a classification, not a designation. Okay? You need a diagnosis for therapists like me to know how to treat your condition. But you separate your diagnosis from you as a person. Okay? That's critical for your growth. So work on how you think about yourself, how you view yourself. And if you do have a mental illness and a diagnosis, it doesn't mean that you're crazy or there's something wrong with you. It just means that you are struggling with that. Just like if you had a physical problem, right? Yes. Logically, you can say yes, but sometimes emotionally, you feel like there's something wrong, right? Yes, Wanda, exactly. You're welcome, Bonnie. Oh, thank you, Bonnie, for resharing that. This is a message that many people need to hear. Don't you agree? And my vision for Keep Calm Academy is that everybody in the group is supporting one another. None of us have it all together, and we need a support network. And so I look at Keep Calm Academy as a support network. And so when you see someone post and they're struggling, reach out to them. And all you got to do, you don't have to be a counselor to help them. Just encourage them and say, you know what, I feel that way too. And here's what helps me. That's all you got to do. And that's my vision for this group. And I want to be able to help as many people as I can. But I like the fact that it's inside a private group like this. Because I feel like this is more monitored. I mean, for some of you who follow me on or not LinkedIn, on Periscope, or live streaming years ago, remember some of the trolls that we'd get? So this helps eliminate that, and so I'm able to see who's in here, and I can control that somewhat. So if you're just coming in, make sure, don't forget the 3-point check. And again, the 3-point check is, as a review, it's this. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What am I thinking? Is it negative? How am I feeling? And what are you going to do about it? Those 3 questions can be very profound. They're simple, but profound. So I want you this week, I want you to remember this tool, put it on a Post-it note, and put the Post-it note somewhere where you'll see it to remind you to use it. Okay? And work on you. So this is not passive here, it's active. So if you're watching this, I want you to really, really work on it. Okay? All right, Bonnie. Yep. What am I thinking? How am I feeling? And what am I going to do about it? You got it, Bonnie. Excellent. Yes, yes, yes. I repress and suppress and intellectualize my emotions. Yeah, Bonnie, that actually touches on something that I want to talk about later on. It's about those core emotions and where those core emotions come from. That can be very difficult to deal with because we all have a timeline, and that's something that I talk about too in therapy. Is that we all have a timeline, and on that timeline are dates or ages, how old we were, that made an impact on our life, good or bad. And that timeline, when you can go back and you can look, and so something bad happened, maybe it's trauma. So trauma, a traumatic event, can influence you now. And so depending on the type of trauma, you may need to work on that and peel back those layers that are deep, 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 deep. And they're so painful that you want to suppress them and not think about them. And that's a coping mechanism, and I understand it, but in the long run, it's going to come out eventually. I use the analogy. Have you all watched the original, the first Jurassic Park? And they were on that in Jurassic Park. they were on the helicopter and going to the island, and Jeff Goldblum's character, they were talking about how safe it's going to be. And it's going to be contained, and everything's going to be great. And Jeff Goldblum's character, he says, nature has a way of finding its way out. Something along those lines. And I use an analogy with these core emotions. You could try to suppress them. You can try to ignore them and bury them deep as far as you can. But emotions have a way of coming out. And they'll find a way out. And so often it influences the people, and individuals, they might self-medicate because they're hurting. And that's negative, right? We don't want the negative behavior. So that is an important issue. It's a hard issue, very, very hard to deal with because we're looking at pain, the sore spots, if you will. Just like if you have a sore muscle, and you go to get a massage, and you tell the masseuse, "Oh, I got a sore spot back there." The masseuse is going to work that out, right? So it's just like if you have a sore emotional spot, you got to work on it. You have to face that fear until you are able to be able to be okay with that pain. Bonnie said you don't touch medication, but for you it affects how I relate and behave. Some medications can cause some side effects for sure, and I get that. So that's a personal choice. In therapy, I try to do everything we can with skills like the 3-point check, and therapy itself. Try to do that instead of go right to medication. But sometimes medication could be needed depending on the situation. But totally respect anyone's opinion on that. So, thanks, Wanda. I appreciate that. So our time is about up. I appreciate it. I think did everybody get a this is the first time I'm doing live in that event. So I hope you all were able to get notified and all that.
What event?
I think this is good, and I appreciate you being here. Mindfulness, Bonnie. Yep, that is something that I would like to talk about too. So there's lots of things that we can talk about together, and even I don't know if I am able to.
I can't see the comments.
I don't know if I'm able to invite someone in or not. I'll have to look into that. There may be times.
Why can't I see the
think it'd be
comments?
kind of cool later on if anybody would be willing. It'd only be inside of Keep Calm Academy. But I think, wouldn't it be cool if individuals came on with me and we talked? And it's not just me talking to you just by, solo. I think that'd be pretty cool. So I'll have to think about that and figure out how to do that. I'm just looking up right now, and I don't see a way of doing that in here. But there might be. So, anyway, our time is up. I appreciate you being here. Thank you guys for your time. And if you think about it, if there are people, some of your friends on Facebook or wherever that you think would benefit from this group, please invite them. Do it in person. That way they know why they're being invited. That'd be great. And so, anyway, thank you so much. I hope this has been helpful. You can rewatch this as many times as you want for encouragement. And we'll definitely do this again. So, all right. Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And this video should be inside and stay inside Keep Calm Academy. All right. See you next time. We'll do this again. Bye-bye.
One listener, hello. Hello to the replay viewers. I'm going to end this. And when I click end stream, nothing happens.